Okay, so I've decided I'm going to take you guys through the homeworks as well. Yes, this could mean that you can wait for me to release videos on how to do the homework and you can just copy all of my annotations. However, I will be looking out for you guys to be submitting it before I'm actually doing these videos, because I'm only doing this to ensure that we all understand everything, so that when we come back in year 11 there's going to be no subject knowledge gaps, just because it's not a year to have to kind of fall behind, especially in poetry. I know your year group in particular, you missed out on many opportunities to actually explore poems. The last time, as I've said to the class, last time you guys actually explored poetry was conflict poetry, which was only like I don't think it was a 6-week scheme of work, so it wasn't that long. Okay, so these videos are here to help you to further your notes for your homework. They're not like, these videos aren't here to help you kind of just do the homework for you. I want you to try and attempt it yourself first, okay? Second apologies on not having a ruler. It's ridiculous, can't find it in my household, but I'm just gonna go through it and try and make it as neat as possible. So, with Farmer's Bride and Porphyria's Lover, our first column is tone. I already told you in the in my cheesy YouTube videos of the other of the poems Farmer's Bride and Porphyria's Lover, I've already said that how the tone is similar. So we've discussed how both poems, they have quite a dark tone to them. It's a bit dark. I stated how there's also quite a threatening tone. In Farmer's Bride, the threatening tone is kind of shown by, there's like that hunt, almost witch's hunt. Also threatening here, I mean, it's quite obvious why this one's threatening. It's because he strangled her with her hair. So we can say murder. How it is different is in Farmer's Bride, there's more of it's more of a summary of what happens in the poem. However, it is good to notice that there's a slight rebellion here, so rebellious nature to the poem, because you have the female who tries to run away, doesn't achieve it, but she tries to run away. Female tries to run. Whereas here you have more of like the submissive kind of character. So rebellious, if you were going to compare it, it's not necessarily a comment on tone, but it's something which you could, as I've just said, you can make a reference to it. So we've got a rebellious nature, and you could say there's a submissive nature here, because the female kind of accepts. She either accepts the death, death, or she is oblivious to it, oblivious towards the murder that is about to encompass her. Okay, so we've got the speaker. What can we say about the speaker? So we could certainly say by Farmer's Bride, he is someone who is, I say he prioritizes work over romance. We definitely could say that this speaker he's a patriarch, which means someone who believes that men are more superior to women. Yeah, men are superior. Okay, the speaker as well, he dominates. How can we compare this to Porphyria's Lover? So we could say once again that the speaker, he also dominates, because he says that she'll be mine forever. I'm not sure if that's an exact quote, but mine forever. I would like to say that this guy, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's an accurate judgment. We can say that he is not mentally sound. That's a very polite way to say that he's not all there. He's got a few wires missing. So the speaker as well, he's quite calculating in the way that he plots murder. And he thinks about it. He even says that, and I puzzle of what to do, or some sort of quote like that. All right, so then we have the form. So in Farmer's Bride, we know for a fact that there are verses. That's my clock, ignore that. I don't have birds in my house. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 7 verses. Whereas in Porphyria's Lover, you can say that the form, there's 1 block verse. You could say that the 1 block verse, if you've looked at my video that I put on YouTube, the 1 block verse, it could suggest his spontaneous murder, his impulsiveness. The verses could suggest maybe Mew, who's the poet, not the narrator, but the poet, the person who actually wrote the poem. Mew could be kind of, through these structured verses where she's bothered to actually place them into a poem, it could suggest how she's being critical of the organised style of society, the strict law. You might ask, well, what strict law was Mew so bothered about? She was mainly bothered about the inequality. Yeah. Both, you could comment on the line lengths. So they both have irregular line length, irregular line. So maybe Porphyria's Lover suggests that he's also quite disturbed. He's a very irregular. He thinks irregularly, so it could kind of reflect his thought patterns. Whereas for me personally, the irregular line length here, it reflects the female trying to break away, female trying to break from rules of society. Okay, so you have those organized verses. So it's Muse with kind of showing how these strict laws, these organized laws put in place for females to obey. This female in this poem is trying to break away from them through the use of the irregular line length. I hope you kind of understand that. All right, so now we go down to structure. Farmer's Bride and Porphyria's Lover, they both use enjambment. That is Farmer's Bride. And we can also say that Porphyria's Lover also uses enjambment. How they're used differently, maybe this shows, you could literally interpret it however you want. I'm only going to give you a few interpretations. It could show the desperation of female to break from law. Maybe it's to show the narrator, the man who's speaking, maybe it's to show his eagerness to catch and follow wherever his female tries to run away from. So eagerness of narrator to hold his bride captive, to hold bride captive. Okay, the enjambment here, for me, it kind of connotes the same way this block verse. It's the impulsive nature, because he doesn't stop. Like, enjambment is the continuation of that one line in the poem onto the next. It shows that the narrator speaking in Porphyria's lover, he's not willing to stop and think about his action. He's just doing it. Yeah, he's on autopilot. Impulsive nature. It kind of makes him seem more threatening, more unpredictable. Okay. With terms of the rhyming couplet, in Farmer's Bride, there is rhyming couplets. If you remember, there's stall, cool, and all. So rhyme, stall, cool, all. It could show the idea of mockery, the mocking tone. The lack of seriousness, like this man who's chasing this female isn't able to grasp how serious it is that of that female's feeling, nor does he really very much care, so long as he has her cooped up in the attic. Then we have Porphyria's lover. Let me just turn to my notes on that. So we have the rhyming couplet at the end. Rhyming couplet at end, to show that he's satisfied of the endings, satisfied of her end. It's conclusive. He felt like that's what needed to be done. You could comment on like the ABAB structure. Don't worry too much about that right now. You're only in year 10, so don't panic if you have not been able to think of maybe the metaphorical meaning of ABAB, CD, whatever it is. I will make sure that I put lessons for you in future to understand that a little bit better, okay? Now the language and techniques. So let's start with Farmer's Bride. We have the idea of loads of similes are used, similes, to compare female to an animal, which shows, oh, what on earth is that word? Animal. To show that maybe he's dehumanizing her. Dehumanizing. Maybe to make it feel a little bit easier that he can hunt for her like that. So he's not actually treating her as a person, dehumanizing her. Also, all these animals, which he uses similes to compare her to, are very small, which you could connect to AO3 in the way that females were seen as very small, almost something which men used to hunt to claim as theirs as such, or like almost just seen as like the men were the predators and the females were something which were to be like endured, kind of like almost like food, something to be digested and enjoyed in a very selfish kind of way. Then you have Porphyria's lover. Let me see, which one could we focus on? We could focus on the idea of, maybe we could look at, I'm trying to think about one specific, the sexual imagery maybe. Once again, you can then compare it, because the sexual imagery suggests that this man, this narrator speaker, is once again kind of devaluing her as a person, only seen as like an object. Okay, so both writers fail to recognize the value of the female as a person, and more as something which they can use for their own personal gain. Okay, something very popular in both of the times in which they were written. Okay, then we have the themes. Okay, we have the themes in Farmer's Bride such as hunting, greed, desire. Porphyria's lover, we have the certain themes of murder. We have also the theme of desire. and greed. But for me, actually, another good one is control for both of them. They both desire the control of their female to control that female that are in their lives. Okay? I hope that this helped. I will actually just allow you to pause the video on this if you want to take any more notes. I will continue to help you with homeworks. Don't worry about it. Please let me know if you need any further help or me to upload any videos onto YouTube which you think would help other students too. Thanks guys, bye.